Ladies and guys who want to know what to do when a girl really starts to like you. Andy here, author of the best Tinder guide on the internet, founder of killyourinnerloser.com. This is the Kill Your Inner Loser show. Let's fucking go. Perfect. Amazing intro. I'm here with Imogen again, my confidant, my, some would say, sex toy. How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
Why are you wearing, first of all, why are we wearing the same clothes as the previous episode? That is what the listeners and the viewers want to know. They want to know why we're a pair of lazy pieces of shit that don't change clothes between episodes. So what have you got to say about that? How can you address those concerns, Mrs. Imogen? Live on the air right now, thank you.
I don't live here, so I don't have a change of clothes.
And my excuse is I also do not live here, and so these are the only clothes that are in this apartment. So we are going to talk about what to do when a girl gets feelings for you, when she starts getting those emotions, that heartfelt shit, when she's all like turning into a beta male and she starts to like think that you're a god or some shit. She starts wanting more than just your dick. She also wants your heart. She wants your emotions. She wants to know about what's in your brain and your soul and stuff like that. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do when she gets fucking feelings? You freak the fuck out.
I think for the most part, you just say that's fine.
Yeah, okay, perfect. We can end the podcast here. So why are we even talking about this topic in the first place? Because a bunch of my coaching clients, a bunch of guys on my forums as well, like basically a bunch of guys who haven't had a lot of relationship experience or who maybe have but want to start dating casually, this comes up all the time. Girls even talk about this all the time, where you have like a concern of like, well, I want to have a casual relationship, but what do I do if the other person starts liking me? Like, I know that I can be casual, which is funny because like, when I say that, I mean like the guys will often say, I know I can be casual. And you're like, but how do you know you don't get feelings? Anyway, I love the confidence guys. They then hit me up 3 months later and they're like, so I'm in a relationship with this girl and like, I love her. You're like, bro, I thought you would just, anyway, they'll say that they can stay casual and they can handle their feelings like a real fucking alpha male. But like, what if this poor bitch like loves me? Like, what do I do then? Which on the surface sounds like a funny kind of like, for us, it sounds like a very easy question to answer. Because as you say, you just deal with it. You cross that bridge when you come to it. But I get that people have this concern of like, I don't want to break any hearts. A better way of phrasing this question is, how do I be ethical in casual relationships? How do I make sure I look after someone's feelings and I'm not trampling on their feelings and saying, well, fuck you, bitch. I don't care if you like me. I just want your pussy. Like, they're basically, this is a good question to ask. I appreciate this question because it's coming from a good place. It shows that the person asking, and again, I've had this question so many times that I had to jump on and address it. You guys asking, you're basically, it's another way of like humble bragging and saying, I'm a good fucking person. I know you're not humble bragging, I'm joking, but like, you're basically, you've shown your hand. You're saying that like you're a good person, you care about ethics, you just don't want to hurt anyone. You want to be able to enjoy the fruits of a casual relationship without all the negative stuff. So, hats off.
I think the simplest answer is, I mean, initially, make sure you're upfront with the fact that you want something casual.
Mm-hmm.
Don't play games for 3 months and not really mention anything. And she probably thinks you're monogamous and then you tell her and then you do break her heart. Say upfront, like, I want this to be casual. And yes, if you see somebody for a while and things are casual and you spend a decent amount of time together, it's almost inevitable that you'll each start to like each other. And that's fine as long as like you can still be in a casual relationship and like the other person. The only issue comes up is when, so I guess the other person decides that they're not okay with being casual anymore and they want something that's more in line with the relationship. And ultimately, if that's what it comes to, it's just you kind of decide to move on if you can't give the other person that.
Yeah, preparation really is key here. The answer to this entire like question or conundrum or whatever is being honest as early as you can, as upfront as you possibly can. Like telling them, hey, I'm just looking for something casual. Or a better way of saying it is, I'm not looking for something super serious, right? You can even say, I'm open to seeing what happens later on. If that is something you're open to, don't promise that if you're not. But basically saying what you want as early as possible. I've talked about this a million times. The earlier you can say it, the better. But if you try and say it on the first date, or you try and say it on Tinder, but you just, you can't fucking say, you're terrified. That's fine. Just say it on the second date. Like, try and do it as early as possible, as early as you possibly can. I'll always be an advocate for being as upfront as you can, but I'm also a realist, and I understand that if I tell a lot of you guys, go out and tell her that you just want something casual on the first date, or when you first walk up to her, or, some of you will go like, I can't do that, man. Like, I'm terrified. Like, what? Blah, 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 blah. Try and work up to it. I promise you can do it, but if you chicken out, I'm not going to take your fucking head off. Just try and do it as early as you possibly can. Over time, you want to get to a point where you tell every single girl that you're in that you want to date, or that you want to have a casual friends with benefits thing with, tell her as immediately as you can. Like, immediately. Either on Tinder, hey, I'm not looking for something super serious. Let's grab a drink, have a bit of a flirt, see where things lead. What's your phone number? That's like the last message that you send before you get her phone number. Or say it on the first date. Hey, what are you looking for? Just a heads up. I'm not looking for something super serious. Like, I just probably want something like casual, but like ongoing. Like, I don't want a one night stand, but I would like to kind of just like maybe hang out like once a week or something, kind of have a bit of fun, get to know each other, have some, hanky panky, kinky winky. Say that, like her panties will flood if you say it exactly like that. Like, if you say the kinky winky bit at the end, I can't tell you how many women have like literally fallen off the chair. Like, and there's like a snail trail left behind. Anyway, back on topic, back on track. So be as upfront as you possibly can. Preparation really does like solve this problem. If you just make it clear what you're looking for, and then kind of just like reiterate it if you need to as the relationship is going on. Like, let's say you're casual, you're friends with benefits, you're just sleeping together, maybe you see each other once a week. That's another thing, by the way. I'll say my first point first. So if you're seeing each other once a week, just maybe, I don't know, after like a month or two, just be like, yo, like, by the way, like, just reminding you, like, this is really good. I really like this. Like, I'm enjoying this. Are you happy with how things are? Like, is this fun? And she'll say like, yeah, of course, this is great. So like, you're just reiterating. And the second thing I'll say is, don't hang out. If you say that you want something casual, I see this a lot. Guys will say, I want something casual, and then they'll hang out with the girl 4 nights a week. That's not fucking casual, guys. That's a relationship. It doesn't matter how casual you think it is. You're sending mixed messages. You're being unfair on her. You're telling her, hey, I only want something casual. Let's fucking hang out every single night this week and go on long road trips together and go get ice cream. Look, you can get ice cream after sex, but like, let's go get ice cream and hang out for like 4 hours in the park together. That's not a casual relationship. That's called dating. That's a relationship, or working towards a relationship. So if you then say, I don't know why she got feelings for me, it's like, bro, because you were hanging out with her like 20 hours a week, you dipshit. That's like how much we hang out. We hang out a little bit more than that, but like close to that. That's a fucking relationship. So I see that a lot. I thought I'd throw that out there. Not too many guys do that, but every now and then I'll see some guy that's doing that. That's like hanging out with her like 5 nights a week saying, I don't know why she got feelings for me. And it's like, bro, like, that's not fair. Like, of course she'll get feelings. She thinks that she's hearing you say, I want something casual, but then she's going off to her friends and saying, he says he just wants something casual, but we're hanging out like 5 days a week. Like, what do you guys think? And all of them will correctly say, honey, that sounds like a relationship. Like, just keep waiting. I'm sure he'll get feelings for you too. Like, that sounds good. That sounds like a relationship. And so she's hearing you say, I just want something casual, but she's almost thinking you're not lying, but she's like, well, that's not true. He's like clearly in a relationship with me.
Yeah, I think ultimately if you do keep things like properly casual, and it is just like you see each other for sex, you hang out for a tiny bit, but it never progresses further than there, and that's been established, that's the best way at avoiding, because I guess that's what it seems like people are worried about. It's that situation where you've been actually just having casual sex for a few months, and then at some point she's like, I want a relationship, or like, I want you to commit to me. And if that does ever happen, you kind of just need to have that, I mean, it's not fun, but have that conversation of like, I can't give you that. The expectations were clear from the beginning, and like, you kind of part ways amicably.
And if you've laid the groundwork, that's why I'm talking about preparation here. If you've been honest from the start, maybe you've said it a couple of times over like once every 3 months or something. Just reiterate it. Hey, I really like where this is going, or I really like what we have right now. This is fun. I really like seeing you casual. Are you happy with keeping things casual? Like, is this cool? Like, because I want to keep it casual. Like, are you cool with that? And she's like, yeah, like, thank you for, you'll find that when you are honest like this and you keep being honest, girls will thank you for your honesty, because it's not something that they get from other guys. They don't get, most girls have never had this level of honesty and upfront, and almost, it's not reassurance, but it is kind of reassuring to her if, you know, every now and then, again, we're only talking like once every fucking 3 months, you just have a casual conversation like, yo, I really like that this is casual. Like, I'm really happy with this. Are you happy to keep seeing me like this? Are you cool with this, basically? Is this fun for you? Like, I want to make sure you're having fun. I'm having a ton of fun keeping this casual. Is it cool if we keep it casual? And most girls will be like, I fucking appreciate you keeping me on the same page so I know what's going on. So I don't have to be in my own head going, but does he like me? Will we ever have a relation? Does he want a relationship, or does he just want casual? It's like they get to define it. There's this stupid notion, and it comes from inexperience, so I shouldn't say it's stupid, but there's this notion that guys have all over the internet. Every fucking pickup artist, every dating guru, which is basically a guy who doesn't get laid, every fucking, I shouldn't shout out guys, there's a bunch of dating gurus that I know that do get laid. Every guy in the red pill, there's so many people, I shouldn't say every, there's a lot of fucking people on the internet that have this notion that a woman will just ultimately expect a relationship and that she'll never be able to do casual. And at some point she'll just like expect a relationship. That will happen if you don't make it clear that you want something casual. If you make it goddamn crystal fucking clear, make no, you know, just make it absolutely set in. Here's exactly what I want. I want it, literally define it autistically. Like, sit there and say, this is how many times I want to see you a week. Does that sound cool for you? I want to keep it casual like this. I probably don't want to go on like big road trips and hang out for like 5 hours a day with you. Is that cool? Like, make it clear what you're looking for. You don't have to do that on the first date. Just on the first date, say, I'm not looking for something serious, and then define it a little bit later. If you make that shit clear, they know where they stand. And then they won't just go, oh, I'm going to fall in love with him. That happens because you've made it vague. You've left room for interpretation. So she's going to fill in the gaps with fantasy, as people do when they start liking each other, when they hang out for long enough. Your mind starts going, maybe this could grow into something more. It's almost like you have to, it's almost like you're setting the boundaries almost. You're setting the expectations. Expectations is a better word. You're saying, here's what the expectations are. Are you cool with these expectations? And you're going to find most girls will say like, yeah, thank you for telling me. Yeah, I can give you that. Especially younger women. Yeah, like under 25. Like most of them, I'm not saying older women don't have casual relationships, but I'm saying if you're dating predominantly younger women, like, yeah, they're all fine with casual. If you make it fucking clear. Now, obviously there'll be a couple that aren't fine, but you will screen them out. If you right immediately say, before you even fucking have sex, I want something casual, or I want something not super serious. Does that suit you? The ones who want something serious, or who want to eventually grow into something serious, will leave. Because they'll go, thank you for being upfront. That's probably not what I'm looking for. Bye. Or they might have sex with you once and then go away. Like, you're not going to keep those girls around. So this is a problem that only comes up because you didn't lay the groundwork. You weren't clear. You weren't upfront. You weren't honest, so to speak. Honest is not the right word. Upfront.
Yeah, I think a really good example of this is a girl that we're seeing at the moment. We did an interview with her, and we were very clear at the beginning. Obviously, we're a couple, so it's a little bit different. So that changes the dynamic a little bit. But we even had a conversation with her saying, like, we do still see, like, other girls. Like, we hope that's cool with you. And, like, I get the impression from her, like, she's super sweet, super affectionate. She obviously likes us, like, very much. And even if she was to, I don't ever think she's going to fall in love with one of us, but I think there's still a world in which she really likes us, like, quite a lot, and gets quite attached. But that's still, like, it's okay. We can still keep seeing her because she's not expecting, like, that we go on dates with her.
She doesn't have expectations that the relationship will go somewhere, because we've already said it's only going to be casual. Like, we're seeing other women as well. Like, it's like there's a ceiling and it can never go past that point. And if you make that clear, people have that expectation, and then they won't get invested. Why do people get feelings? Why do people fall in love? Because they think that it can go somewhere, because they get invested, because they let themselves fantasize. Part of falling in love requires fantasy. You saying like, oh my God, I love the time we have to, you have to like daydream about it. If you have been told this will only be casual, you don't fantasize. You start fantasizing and then you go, no, stop. It's only casual. What am I doing? I'm being a bit, okay, stop. And it's like, you can stop that. You don't let your mind run wild for like 5 hours of fantasy. That's how you fall in love, by letting yourself fall in love. Falling in love, getting feelings, requires you to let it happen. And so if you make it clear to someone, this is what the expectations are, then they can stay in that framework and work within that framework. And the moment that they're not happy with that, you have a conversation and then you decide to move on. Or maybe you have that conversation and you think sometimes this will happen. You think, do you know what? I thought I wanted something casual, but like we've been seeing each other for like a year now. By the way, I don't recommend getting into a relationship until you've seen someone for at least 6 months, at least. And I see guys break that all the time. And then they come to me, 3 months later and say, hey, I'm breaking up with her. This was like, she has so many red flags. And I'm like, you would have seen that if you just saw her casually for 6 months. Those red flags come out. Anyway, separate issue. I'll do a podcast on that at some point. But you set that like boundary. And I like the word boundary because the thing is, if you're not being upfront with women, let's look at this from the woman's point of view for a little bit. How can she fucking trust you if you haven't told her what the boundaries are? You're doing her a disservice by keeping it vague, by not having that conversation, by not telling her you want something casual. You're being incredibly fucking unfair to her. How can she trust you? She doesn't know what the rules of the game are, and then you're like, let's play this fucking game. Let's date each other and possibly get feelings and have heartbreak because you didn't tell me the rules of the game. I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to fall in love. You didn't fucking tell me that. And you're the man. It is your goddamn responsibility to tell each woman that you date, here's what I expect, or casually see. Here's what the expectations are. Here's what the framework is. Yeah, maybe the framework is a little malleable if we go a year into the future, whatever. But like, you don't have to tell her that. But like at the start, tell her the fucking framework. Tell her what to expect so she can fucking trust and enjoy whatever it is you're doing. I see too many guys have a casual relationship and they don't tell the boundaries. And then she gets feelings. And then the poor fucking girl, I don't feel so bad, but I feel a little bit fucking bad for them because it's like, how is it their fault? Yes, you can say like, oh, well, she shouldn't have got feelings. It's like, you didn't fucking tell her the rules of the game. And then you're saying, oh, well, you played the game wrong. She didn't know what the fucking rules were. You were playing a different game. You were playing the game of, let's have a casual friends with benefits thing. But you didn't fucking tell her that was the game you were playing. She just thought you were playing like, well, we date casually and then we fall in love. Because you didn't fucking tell her that wasn't what you were playing.
Yeah, I will say for most people, I think the default assumption is that like, if you spend time with someone, eventually it turns into a relationship.
Yep.
Like that's the default. So you need to establish if it's not going to be that way.
Yeah, you have to understand, like dating casual. Yes, I know in Western countries, dating casually, like fine. But like you said, most people have this, whether rightly or wrongly, expectation that casual will eventually turn into something. If we spend enough time together, it will turn into something. I'm not saying that girls expect you to see them for a year or something, but if you do see them for long enough, the expectation is, well, we've been seeing each other for like 4 months now. Aren't we shouldn't we be girlfriend and boyfriend by now? That's why you need to make it goddamn clear at the start. I only want something casual. I'm not looking for something serious. I need like probably a fucking couple of years of experience and shit like that. I need to get my shit together. I'm still working on myself. I'm not ready to commit to someone yet. I don't think I'm at that point. Have these conversations so she knows, oh, okay, like I'm just going to enjoy this casual relationship with you. What you will also find, this is another benefit that's a side benefit we haven't even talked about yet, and this doesn't even get talked about. Actually, I do talk about this in a different context, but if you make the rules of the game really clear and say, this is something casual, I'm looking for something casual, does that suit you? Is that cool with you? If so, let's fucking have sex and make this thing work. She can then commit because she can trust you now because she knows what the rules of the game are because you've been honest and upfront when most guys won't. She's like, wow, this guy's like brutally fucking honest. Do you know what? I think I can be more vulnerable. And now, what do I mean when I say vulnerable? Because guys will hear the word vulnerable and they'll be like, why do I want vulnerable? Especially guys from the red pill. They'll be like, why do I want her to be vulnerable? Guys, because vulnerability means crazy fucking sex. Fancy that. Vulnerable means she will do fucking wild, crazy, insane, kinky shit for you because she can trust you. Vulnerable means she will be more affectionate to you and more intimate because she knows the rules of the game. And she knows, yeah, I can be fucking nice to him because I know this is just casual. So I can like give wholeheartedly. Like, yes, she will hold back a little bit with her feelings and her fantasies and not falling in love. Fine. But she will be able to give to the casual relationship as much as she possibly can. And that means better sex for you, often better affection. How fucking affectionate is the girl that we're seeing? And I'm telling you this from experience. when I held back and didn't make this shit clear and was vague and strung girls along and didn't tell them what I was looking for, because I thought, oh, if I tell them that I want something casual, they'll all leave. They'll all think, no, I don't want that, and they'll leave, which isn't true, by the way. Girls stay more the more honest you are. If you tell girls you want something casual, more of them stick around because they're like, yeah, he's fucking honest with me. I don't have to play these fucking games that I'm sick and tired of playing. But what I found was when I switched to being more honest and saying like, hey, I'm not looking for something serious. I want just casual dating, like friends with benefits. That's all we're going to get here. Does that suit you? When I switched to that, they started being more fucking affectionate. And that blew my mind because I was like, won't they be less affectionate if they know that this is just casual? And it's like, no, because now they trust me. They know what the rules of this game are. They know that it's just casual. So they can be nicer to me. They can give wholeheartedly. They can be cuddly and snuggly and nice and fucking do shit like that and have crazy kinky sex because they know I don't have to hold back with this shit. Girls hold back when they don't know what the relationship is. They don't know that it's casual. They're going to hold back because they're like, well, what if I give too much and he thinks I'm clingy? Or what if I give too much and he thinks that I'm falling in love? Or what if I give too much and I fall in love? Whereas when you set the rules of the game, the rules of engagement, so to speak, not that it's a fucking war, but the rules of the game, she can give wholeheartedly within that framework. She can go, I'm going to be the best at casual relationships that I could ever be. I'm going to blow his fucking mind and be the best lay that he's ever had. Girls do that all the time, by the way. They will try and just be like filthy and kinky and shit like that. That didn't happen to me as much, barely at all, when I was playing these games and not telling girls what I wanted. They wouldn't give wholeheartedly. I could feel them holding back, and that just went away as soon as I started saying, yo, I want something casual. You also have sex quicker, by the way, like way quicker. If you just say, I want something casual, you have sex on the first date. Try not saying that and see how often you bang girls on the first date. Like significantly less, because they don't know. They're like, if you don't say, I want something casual, in her mind, her default is, well, this must be a relationship. Even if you meet on Tinder, it doesn't matter where you fucking meet, even if you meet in a club, she'll be thinking this is probably going to be a relationship. Because that's the default. If you don't set the terms, she's going to think it's a relationship. Now, what do girls do when they're when they think they're going to work towards a relationship? They hold back a little with sex because she doesn't want to be too easy. She wants to build a little bit of trust and get to a point, you know, pickup artists call it like, what do they call it? I forgot the fucking term. Building a rapport. Like she thinks I need to hold back a little and build something here before I like have sex with him, because I got to make sure we're a good fit and all that kind of stuff. Like I got to make sure he likes me and make sure that like there's some connection here, because we're going to move into a relationship. If I have sex with him, that's going to move to a relationship. And I don't want to get into a relationship with someone that I don't have trust and like I know that our personalities click and I know he's a good person and all that sort of stuff. Whereas if you say I want something casual, now all she has to think is like, well, am I attracted to him? Could I fuck him? Yeah. Yeah, okay, we should have sex. Like she doesn't have to have all this background shit of like, what if our personalities aren't exactly in line? What should I meet his friends first? Like all that shit is irrelevant because you've said I want something casual. That shit doesn't even come into the equation. She doesn't need to figure out the answers to those questions. It's just, am I attracted to him? Is he attracted to me? Is there like some baseline level of he's like not almost nothing else even matters. Like with a lot of girls, it's just like, are we attracted to each other? Is he not a complete 100% psychopath? Is he not going to murder me? Does he seem like even slightly okay as a person? Fine. He can even be a fucking dickhead as long as you look attractive if you're talking about casual. So set those rules of the game first, as upfront as you can, and you'll have better sex, quicker sex, more affection, more trust, funnily enough. Because I think guys have this notion that like, if I say that I want something casual, we can't like give to each other. We can't be in a trust. It's like, yes, you can. Like, what are you talking about? You'll have more trust because you've just been honest. You've just shared something that most guys don't do. I can't tell you how many guys. I can't tell you guys how many girls will say to you, literally say to you. I get emails all the time from people saying like, "Hey, I tried being upfront and telling her I want something casual, and we had this like long 3-hour conversation where she said like, no guy has ever been this honest with me before, and like then we had crazy sex and like it's really great." And it's like, yeah, because you were fucking honest and you told her, you respected yourself and her. It's not even about her. You respected yourself enough to share and tell the fucking truth to someone instead of like, let me just like hide it because I'm too scared to have this conversation.
Yeah, and I mean, looping back to the subject of this podcast is that by doing all of this, not only do you get all of those other benefits, but by being honest up front, you avoid a messy, where is this going? I've gotten feelings.
You don't even have that conversation. That's the other thing that guys are terrified of. They're like, what do I... Because this whole question is, you notice we haven't actually answered the question properly, and that's by design. The question was, how do you handle when a girl gets feelings for you? The answer is, if you do everything else that we just said up until this part of the podcast, it does. The question doesn't really it doesn't matter. Like, if she gets feelings for you, you've already laid a groundwork of honesty. You've already been up front. You've already said, hey, at multiple times, I want something casual. So then when she gets feelings, you just sit there and talk about it. You're like, well, hey, you got feelings for me. And by the way, like, you can make it clear. We do this with girls all the time. Make it clear, like, maybe after you've casually dated for 3 months, you say, if you get feelings for me, like, no stress, just like tell me. If either of us gets feelings, we'll just have a chat about it. We'll see where we are. Like, it's no big deal. Just fucking tell me. Like, you make it clear, like, you can come to me if you get feelings. Don't feel, excuse me, hiccup. Don't feel like you have to hide it or be scared of it or something. If you get feelings, just fucking tell me and we'll have a chat. Like, make it really clear, be casual about it. And you'll find that some girls do come to you every now and then and tell you this shit, and you just fucking have a conversation about it. You've already laid the groundwork. That's the thing. This question doesn't even matter. It won't be a big deal because you've already laid the groundwork of honesty. And so she might come to you and say, hey, I think I'm kind of getting feelings. And you'll be like, yeah, look, let's fucking chat about it. Like, of course you're getting feelings. We've seen each other for like a year now. I kind of like you too. Like, yeah, what should we do about it? And it's not a big fucking deal. It's sometimes you will be like, let's keep seeing each other casual. And she'll be like, yeah, I can do that as long as you don't mind that I kind of like you. And you're like, yeah, I don't mind. Like, I promise I'll be careful with your feelings. I'm not going to like stomp on your fucking heart or something. I'll be cognizant of the fact that you like me. I appreciate that. But as long as you're casual and I'm like casual, as long as we're both happy, let's keep it going. That is one outcome. Sometimes you will sit there and go like, you and I did this, where it's like, I have feelings for you. And then you said it first. And then I'm like, yeah, me too. Fuck. And then like, a month or so later, you're like, I love you. And I was like, I could probably say I love you too. Yeah, I think I'm pretty close to that. Yeah. Okay. And then from there you go like, what should we do? Let's keep it casual for a little bit, but we can just like have these feelings. And you do that for a while. And then at some point, it wasn't until like, how long were we dating before we said like relationship? Probably like a year or something.
It was probably about a year.
Yeah. We just kept it going. And then at some point, you're like, do you know what? You're really fucking cool. You've stuck around for this long, and I've stuck around with you. We're stuck around with each other. At that point, we were sleeping with other girls together and doing all that sort of shit. We're still doing that shit, obviously. But we've been together for a year. You've handled, like you personally, Imogen, have handled these feelings really well. You've been mature with them. You're still seeing me casually, Maybe we should think about, like, do we want to fucking call each other boyfriend, girlfriend? I don't know. And it took me a little while to do it because I don't want to jump into things. It took probably like another couple of months after that before we started saying like, yeah, we're boyfriend, girlfriend, like officially. And then a long time after that before I told like my family and my parents and friends and shit like that. But the point is like, it wasn't this big deal of like, oh my God, she has feelings for me. It's like, you just kind of talk about it and then figure out what you want to do and just be mature about it and keep seeing each other if you want to. Or if you don't, fine. That doesn't really happen though most of the time. Honest to God, like most of the time, it's like one of you will get feelings or both of you will get feelings and then you talk about it and you say, what do you want to do about it? And it's like, I guess the feelings aren't a bad thing. People look at feelings like they're this big, terrifying fucking monster. That the second she gets feelings, holy fuck, the casual relationship is over. The world falls apart. Oh my God, she fell in love with me. Oh my God, she's going to get her heart broken. It's like, why? Can't she just have feelings and still keep seeing you? Can you both not just have feelings and keep seeing each other? Like, why is that this weird, terrifying, but it's supposed to be casual? It's like, it can still be casual while you have feelings, you fucking psychopaths. Like, you don't have to have no feelings, you fucking psychopaths.
Yeah, I think the rule is just be honest up front. Don't promise anything you're not going to or can't give. And then make sure you're both happy with the situation.
Yeah, and that's the question to ask yourself multiple times. Like, you should be asking yourself that pretty much the entire relationship. Not like every fucking day, but like, am I happy? Is she happy? Am I getting more out of the relationship? Like, are there more positives than negatives? Like, overall, is there a net positive for me being in this relationship? Overall, is there a net positive for her being in this relationship? If the answer to those is yes, then like, great. That's all that matters. Does it matter if we have feelings? Why the fuck does that matter? Am I happy being here? Is she happy being here? Am I getting more positives than negatives? Is she getting more positive than negatives? Those are the only 4 questions that matter. If the answer to all of those is yes, if you have feelings, cool. That's like almost a periphery thing. It's off on the sidelines. It doesn't matter. It's not like people look at it like that's the deal breaker for some reason. Oh my God, one of us has feelings and the other one doesn't. Therefore, we should break up. Why? Are you both happy to be there? Yes. Sometimes someone can have feelings for the other person. Is a radical fucking thought that's going to blow so many minds here. One person can have feelings for the other person and the other person doesn't, but both people are still happy to be there. Fucking radical notion, I know, but for some reason people don't think like this. I don't know why. I guess it's just a lack of experience in Hollywood and like, oh my God, if I fall in love, like it's heart-wrenching and it's going to break my heart. It's like, how about you just have a conversation? Hey, I like you. Yeah, sweet, that's great. Like, do you want to keep seeing each other? Yeah, I do. Okay, cool, let's do it.
Yeah, I think the issue is that people associate like the feelings part. Like if a girl feels feelings, she's going to want to be boyfriend and girlfriend and hold hands and go on dates and eat ice cream together. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that. You can really, really like somebody and
keep it casual.
Keep it casual.
Again, if you've laid that fucking groundwork and made it clear up front. If you don't lay that groundwork and you never have a conversation about like, what do you want? What do I want? What are the expectations? What are you looking for? What am I looking? If you never have that conversation ever, then yes, when she gets feelings, it will be a big deal because now you have to play this fucking tug of war game, this fucking war where, you know, you're literally enemies and she's trying to get you to fall in love or she's trying to get commitment from you or she's trying to get a relationship from you because like she doesn't want to have her fucking heart broken. And then you're trying to just get her pussy and fuck her little pussy, but not commit to her. Like, what the fuck is that shit? That's like 2 people fighting each other. You may as well just stab each other in the fucking neck at that point because you are like enemies at that point. How is that anything mutually beneficial? And at that point, if you ask each other the 4 questions that I said, are you happy? Am I happy? Are you getting more net positives? Am I getting more net positives? You will ask those questions and the answer will be no to all of those. Like, who wants to be in a fucking tug of war? Drama queens, but nobody else, right? Like you don't want the other person to want commitment, but I have to hold off. And then she's sitting there going like, why can't he commit? But I have to give him my pussy, but not too much of it. Cause then, you know, he gets what he wants and I don't get what I want. Like how is that? None of you are happy to be there. So that is the problem. And people confuse those 2 things. They conflate those 2 things. They think, oh, if she gets feelings, it's inevitable that it turns into that, this tug of war. It's like, no, dipshit, you didn't say what you wanted up front. You essentially lied by omission. And so she had to fill in the blanks. And the natural blanks, the default blanks are going to be, well, it'll turn into a relationship because that's what happens by default. By default, you have to set the rules of the game and tell her what they are so she can trust you. And then again, when you get to that point where she gets feelings or you might get feelings, you talk about it. You just say, hey, I got feelings. And again, make that clear to her. Tell her up front. Tell her several times, like, if you get feelings, just fucking tell me. Like, tell me immediately. Don't keep that shit inside. You'll be able to tell, but tell her that she has to tell you. And when you have that conversation, you'll be like, why the fuck? You'll come back, you'll leave a comment on this video or you'll email me or something. You'll say, why the fuck did I think it was a big deal if a girl got feelings? She likes me. I kind of like her, to be honest, because by the time a girl gets feelings, you're probably going to like her too. That's another thing we didn't even talk about. It's very rare that you go 6 months into a casual relationship and she gets feelings and you just feel nothing. Yes, that will happen sometimes, but then all you need to do is ask yourself the question, am I happy? Is she happy? Am I getting more net positives than net negatives? And is she getting more net positives? And if the answer is yes, like who cares whether your feeling levels are balanced or not? You don't have to feel the same way towards each other at every point in time. I don't think that's even how it's supposed to be. Like, we can say that you feel love for me more intently than I feel it for you. For sure, because this is your first relationship. And so your feelings, we've talked about this a million times. You're more likely to think something's wrong when I'm like, what do you mean something's wrong? You just have a breakdown. You'll be like, oh my God, like, you know, but I love you so much. And I'm like, baby, what are you talking about? Like, why are you going crazy here? What's up? And you'll be like, but you're going to leave me. I love you so much. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, because I've been in relationships. You feel shit more intently than me. Now, you could say I have more of a paternal love for you. Like, I look after you more. Like, the relationship is not equal. It's not. I'm fucking 34 years old and you're 21. How is it going to be equal? It's not. The feelings are not going to be equal. That doesn't mean I don't love you to fucking bits. It doesn't mean I'm not fucking glad that you're here. But the only 4 questions that matter is, am I happy? Yes. Are you happy?
Yes.
Am I getting more net positives than negatives? Yes. Are you getting more net positives than net negatives?
Yes.
That's it. What the fuck does it matter if your feelings are more intense than mine? If you cry anytime, even like, I mean, you don't cry every time, but like if you cry when there's a hint that something's not perfect in the relationship, your feelings are way more intense. You will look at me sometimes. How many times do you look at me and just cry with a smile on your face? You just look at me and just start crying. You're like, you're so beautiful. I love you. You're my man. You'll just start crying, like tears down your face. And I'll be like, oh, you're so cute. Like, I don't look at you and start crying. I was like that in my first relationship. That's what a first relationship usually feels like, intensely. So our feelings, we can't say they're like equal. How the fuck does that matter? That's like a child's view of a relationship. Oh, they have to be equal. They have to be on parity. It's like, why? Why? Give me a reason why. Why? In fact, I think the healthiest relationships are not like that. My mother adores the fuck out of my father. He loves her to bits, but the way they share affection and the levels of love that they give to each other are not equal. My dad doesn't like dote on my mother the way my dad looks after my mother. My dad takes fucking good care of my mother. My dad is the rock. He's stoic. He's like the man, but he doesn't like give her cuddles all the time. He doesn't say, I love you, honey. She says it to him like fucking 10 times a day, and he'll say it like back 1 or 2 times a day, if that. But she knows that he loves her. It doesn't matter whether they have the same level of fucking feelings. Why the fuck would that matter? That's like one aspect of a relationship, the feelings level. So guys, please don't obsess about this. Like, what if she gets feelings for me? As long as you've laid the groundwork, it doesn't matter. You'll have a conversation about it. If it comes up, if she gets feelings, you'll talk like 2 mature adults. It might not be the most glamorous conversation of all time. You might be nervous. You might not know what to say. I already told you what to say. Just have a fucking, go back and listen to this podcast. Just casually have a chat about it. But it's not this big, terrifying thing. And it doesn't have to be the end of a casual relationship just because she gets feelings. It doesn't mean you break up. Like, why the fuck would you break up? If you're happy, she's happy, more net positives, and she gets more net positives, why the fuck would you break up, you fucking retards, just because she has feelings? Anything you want to add?
No, I think that covers it for me.
All right, guys. So go out there, get some fucking feelings. If you get feelings, lay the groundwork first, obviously. Make it clear, like, I want something casual, or I'm not looking for something super serious. Bring it up several times, every couple of months if you need to. Just it's basically a check-in. Like, are you happy with this casual? I love it casual. Do you like it casual? Ask those 4 questions. Literally ask them. Are you happy? She'll be like, yeah. And you'll be like, yeah, cool, I'm happy too. Do you reckon you're getting more net positives out of like being like this casual relationship with me versus net negatives? Am I like a positive influence on your life? And she'll be like, yeah. And then you say like, and you think, and you're like, yeah, you're definitely adding to my life too. Cool. That's all we need to ask. Ask those 4 questions every couple of months, and you're fucking good. I promise you're good. And if one of you gets feelings, you'll fucking handle it. As long as those 4 questions are still a yes from both of you. That's all that fucking matters. If you want coaching from me, if you need help with any of this sort of shit, if you want to hit me up and ask like deeper questions on this sort of stuff, if you're in a casual relationship and you're not sure like, has she got feelings? Or maybe you're in a casual relationship and you didn't lay the groundwork and you want to know what to do about it, I'll leave links in the description below to my coaching. I have group coaching, which is affordable. I have more intense like one-on-one coaching. Either of those are fine. Like, hit me up. Links in the description below. And as always, guys, go out and crush your fucking goals.